Hey, Christmas is right around the corner, and that means I'm going to make a ham. And today we're going to make this rum and Coke ham. We're going to inject the ham with rum and butter and brown sugar, and then we're going to finish it with Coca-Cola as a glaze. And then we're going to cook this ham in the Big Easy oilless turkey fryer. To make this injection, we need a half a cup of brown sugar, stick and a half of butter, and then a half a cup of rum. I'm using this plantation pineapple rum. From experience, I'll put this rum in before I turn the heat on, because if any splashes over, which I always seem to do, and it hits the fire, it's going to flame up. So we're going to put this on low. Just going to melt this butter down. Okay. Now, we want to just heat it enough to get this sugar all dissolved and the butter melted and all blended in. You do not want to bring this to a boil. So what I've done is I've got this on the lowest heat setting for my burner. All right, it's been, I don't know, 4 minutes maybe. I didn't actually time it, but it looks like our sugar is all dissolved. The butter is all melted. So we're going to remove this from the heat, let it cool down, and then we'll get this ham ready. I've got an 8-pound Kentucky Legend Hickory smoked ham here. Okay. And we're just going to take that marinated injection that we have, and we're going to start injecting this guy and working our way out to try to get the injection all the way, where the entire needle mark is. Okay. Excuse me. And, oops. I guess we need to be more careful there, huh? Now, if you don't want to use a rum injection, I'm going to put a link in the description box for a maple syrup-based recipe. I didn't make it. In fact, this rum injection recipe, we found a version of this on smokingmeat.com. That's twice I've done that. So I'll put a link for those of you that don't want to use the alcohol. Maybe you want to use a maple injection. Okay. So I'm not going to bore you with while I sit here and inject up this whole ham. I'm probably going to do every inch or so, inch and a half. And as soon as I get it all injected up, we'll be right back. And you'll know when you've got enough injection in it, because it'll start coming out the other holes. It's coming out down here. So you can see it just came out there. So we're good. All right. Now I am going to season this ham, so I'm just going to take some of this butter and pineapple rum and sugar injection that we just made. We're going to rub it all over this guy. And then I'll show you how we're going to season it. As I mentioned, this is a Kentucky Legend smoked hickory ham. I'm going to use this pork candy sweet hickory rub to complement it. Now, the rub's got sugar in it, so it will darken the ham a little bit. If you don't want it darkened, then just leave the rub off at this stage. And I'm just going to put a light coating of it, not too heavy, on all sides. And then we'll get outside in this cold 40-degree weather and get this in the Big Easy. Our Big Easy's, I preheated it for about 15 minutes. Like a question I get asked all the time, what's the temperature? It's turned all the way up. Okay, there's our ham in the basket. You can see I've inserted a temperature probe. As I mentioned, it's cold out here, and I don't want to have to keep coming out and checking on it. Well, it's a tight fit today for some reason. Okay, we've got our basket in. Now the other question I get asked quite a bit, what about the lid? We're not going to use the lid. If I put the lid on this guy, it's going to make the outside of the ham get way too done before the rest of the ham is heated up. So we'll just keep a close eye on this guy from inside, and when it gets close to being done, we'll be back. Okay, our ham's at 125 degrees. We're going to get this glaze going. I'm going to put in, I got these little sissy baby cans. I'm going to put 3 of these in. They're 7.5 ounces each. Okay. We got our burner set on medium. So what is that? 3/7 or 21? It's 22.5 ounces. I wouldn't worry about it if I was off a couple of ounces one way or the other. We got a half a cup of orange juice. Okay. Got a half a cup of brown sugar. I'm sorry, yeah, half a cup. And then we've got 1/3 of a cup of brown mustard. Just going to bring this up to a boil and then simmer it. As you can see, it's pretty thin, so we can get it to thicken up and then glaze that ham. Okay, this ham is up to around 135. The color on it is looking great. Get him out of here real quick. I'm going to glaze this guy right in the basket. I don't want to take it out, burn my hand, whatever, on the side of this basket. So we're just going to put a layer of glaze on this guy. I'm going to put him back in there for about 15 minutes, and then we'll do one more layer of the glaze. Okay. Now let's see. What's wrong with my fryer today, but I have an extremely tight fit. I don't know if I bent it or what. All right, it got dark, so we brought this ham inside. All right. Let's see how this guy's going to be. Ooh, it is very hot. Let me just cut off a few pieces here. Probably should cut it thinner than that, but okay. I get you a look inside it. You can see it's just piping hot. Okay, that's what she looks like. Telling you, it smells incredible. So we're just going to cut off a little piece there. We've got the glaze we made. Just cut another one off. I have a feeling I'm going to really like this. Okay. Now, let's give this ham a try. Okay, the first thing I noticed is it's like melt in your mouth. I mean, you know, I don't know if you've ever overcooked a ham, but they can get a little tough. I mean, it just melts in your mouth. I had some of that extra dipping sauce, or glaze I should call it, that Coca-Cola glaze. Wow. Okay. This is probably one of my favorite ham recipes that I've made. Now, with that said, there's a couple things I'd do different next time. One, I'd cut that glaze recipe back in half. We made way too much. I made way too much glaze. You could do 3 hams with that much glaze, so I'd cut it in half at least. The total cook time for this ham, everybody always asks, what was the total cook time? I don't know. And the reason is I ran out of propane in the cook, and I don't know how long the propane was out before I detected it. But I can safely estimate the total cook time was somewhere between 3 hours and 3.5 hours. I just don't know exactly, the total cook time on this. You get the sweetness from that rum. Boy, that injection, we put the rum in it, we put the brown sugar in it. It's got a great ham taste. If you haven't chosen a recipe for this holiday season, I hope you'll consider this one. If you have any questions or comments about this recipe, just leave them in the comment section below. Hey, hit that armadillo icon and become a subscriber so you can see all of our new videos.